for Queens Boro President. Let's give him a warm welcome from the Queens Village Republican Club.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Isn't that a warm welcome? I feel at home in here. Thank you. A very good evening to you all. A happy new year to you all. I feel like it's going to be an exciting year. We have taken America back. And let's give it up for our President-elect Donald Trump. Multiple assassination attempts, court cases in multiple jurisdictions, and the man fought and fought and won. America spoke, and he's going to be our next president. Very noble what Donald Trump has done, and we got to do more of that, particularly right here in Queens. A quick story. I got a phone call a few months ago before Trump got elected that the Trump team wanted me to make a speech supporting his candidacy. True story, right? All little kid from Queens getting a phone call from the Trump team to make a video in support of the Trump candidacy. Now, before I say that, I see a couple of my campaign team members here, my family, so I must acknowledge them because my mom's going to be very mad at me. So give it up for my mom and my brothers and sisters that all came out here to support me. And my campaign team, George, Zaraj, Cherie, and all of the people of Queens that has helped fuel and push this campaign, I'm truly grateful to have your support. So back to my story. So when the Trump team called and asked me to do this video in support of Donald Trump, whom I believed in, whom I believe strongly that he's going to be the one to drive this country back in place with all the mess we've got going on, I said I'm going to do it. I was at the gym at the time, so I said, you got to give me some time. I need a couple of weeks. I've got to get a camera crew together. I need light, I got to shave and dress up nice. They said, Sir Henry, you got 5 minutes to do this. I said, what do you mean 5 minutes? I'm at the gym. Trump needs it in 5 minutes. I said, this is a massive opportunity for me. I can't pass on this. So I walked outside. I looked at myself up and down. I've got a big headphones on my ear, and I said, you know what? When you get a call in, you got to stand up, and you got to make it happen. No excuses. Remember, we're Queens strong. We don't back down from a fight. So I said, I don't care. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do my best and I'll send it out. So I run outside of the gym. My son's inside and I said, Henry, you got to wait for me. I got to call it. I got to take this. So I put my headphones on with my camera facing me and I'm making this speech. I'm supporting Donald J. Trump for president because I believe he'll preserve our traditional value, bring manufacturing back to our country, and get us back on track. He's done it before. He'll do it again. Thank you. I sent the video out, right? Pretty short, simple to the point. 10 minutes later, I said, let me watch this video and see what I just sent. I looked at it. I was wobbling all over the place just like I am now, and there was a lot of wind noise. I was sweaty, and I called the individual that sent me the request that I sent the video to. I said, don't send that video. I don't like the way I looked. He said, I agree with you. The headphones were really overshadowing the whole thing, and you were moving back and forth. I don't think it's good. So I said, can you give me a chance to do it again? They said, no, it's been sent out, and more than likely, they're not going to use it because it's just so bad. Kind of sad, right? You know where this is going. So, to make a long story short, the next day, I woke up to over 300,000 Instagram followers on my Instagram, countless messages, my phone's blowing up. Donald Trump had used my video and featured me on his YouTube, and the media picked it up. Right? Look at this small kid from Queens. Now tell me there's not a God for something like that to happen. A little kid from Queens that just wanted to make his community better, that was sick and tired of false and fake leadership. So anyway, that was great. And that's why when God calls, we answer. So 30 years ago, a young family from Africa came to America, to Queens specifically, in search of the American dream and treatment for their daughter. When they got to America, they didn't have a lot of money. They came with all of their savings. And the only thing they could find was a one-bedroom apartment in the most distressed part of Queens at the time, in Southside Jamaica. Mother, father, just like many of us in here, many immigrant families that come here, they came in here, they got the little they can find with the little money they had, and put their kids in this one-bedroom apartment with the hope that if you work hard, you struggle, you have good faith, and teach your kids right, one day you too will succeed. Well, they believe in the traditional values and they believe in the American dream. Well, one thing they didn't want the government's hands in their pocket. They wanted small government and they wanted to work hard and do the right thing and teach their kid. So one of those kids in there, he didn't like education too much. He was a vocational kind of guy. He liked to build houses and fix things and build blocks together. But he was also claustrophobic. So whenever he was home and had to deal with his teenage siblings, he didn't sit too well with him. And by the way, when I go out and speak, I don't carry notes because I talk to you guys straight up. I'm a straight shooter. So this one kid will struggle with being in this tight environment with his siblings and struggle for privacy and who's going to drink in the last bottle of milk in the fridge and who's going to wear whose shoes and those kinds of things. And he said, there's a problem here. I don't like it. I'm going to try to do something about it. You see, they lived in South Jamaica, Queens, and he had to go to school in Long Island City, Aviation High School, precisely. So during that 2-hour ride to school, he would take a bus, the Q6 bus, and 2 trains to school. During that ride, he would think about and plot on how he would get his family out of this struggle and get them into a bigger home, because that was the problem he was facing at the time. So one day, he would get out of the train, and rather than taking the bus home, he'll walk through the neighborhood in South Jamaica, Queens, looking at these colonial homes, and whichever one he saw was distressed, he would knock on the door and ask if there was a way he could negotiate purchasing the property. Now, he didn't know too much about doing this, other than he's gone to the library and read books about how to develop distressed properties and how to buy properties with no money down, just being self-taught. Now, this is the best part about the story. A few weeks after doing this, he found a distressed property, negotiated with the owner, and shortly after, he was able to acquire that property, zero money down, using creative financing and all of the skills he had taught himself, and acquired that property. The property was in distress, so he gathered his friends together from Queens. And the folks from Queens love to help each other, especially when you have a good idea. They fixed up that home, and the family moved out of this one-bedroom, small, 300 square feet attic into a beautiful 5-bedroom home this 17-year-old kid has built. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Henry Ike. I am that kid. And I stand here before you saying that Queens has a problem, and I'm here to tackle it on to be the next Queens Boro President. My message is very simple. The city has its budget priorities screwed up. You look at what's going on, our people that work hard and sacrifice hard, like my mother that came here from Africa and worked her butt off, struggling to pay rent, struggling to pay their mortgage. Meanwhile, the city has deployed millions of dollars to house migrants, particularly in hotels. It's embarrassing. They created a nuisance in our community, affecting our public safety, and also affecting the quality of lives of people that live here and have sacrificed here. We gotta say no to that. We need a leader that's gonna fight to bring back our traditional values, bring back prosperity in Queens, and bring back all of those values that we long wanted in Queens. My other message is very simple. Education. I got kids. We look at the way the kids are learning nowadays, we're not going to be able to compete. Our kids are not going to be able to compete in the future. So we need to make sure that, once again, our budget priorities is in line to make sure we're not cutting services from our public schools. We're deploying capital to keep extracurricular activities in our schools, to make sure they're learning with the best technology. And a guy like myself that believe in vocational training, we need more vocational trainings in our schools. So those kids that don't want to stay in school because they don't like the traditional learning, they can learn vocational, stay in school longer, and not roam our streets. And that brings me to my last thing. Crime is an issue. Just, was it yesterday that we heard there was a shooting right here in Jamaica, Queens at a club? It's ridiculous. What are we doing here? We gotta tackle public safety. We need to be able to walk the street, particularly our mothers and our daughters take the subway and not be worried about being shot, being pushed. We need to deploy the right kind of system. And I'm the kind of guy where if I don't know how to do something, I get the best experts to do it. See, over the last 30 years, I've spent my life developing affordable housing and cutting deals with distressed properties in Queens, particularly challenging properties, properties that require rezoning, rebuild and reconstruction, that sort of thing. So I know I'm well equipped to handle the issues the city has. Because I've done it in my business, I can do it for the city. And lastly, my bread and butter, affordable housing. We gotta make sure our people have housing. But I can't do all of this alone. We gotta unite. We gotta do more. We gotta get more people to support the Republican Club like this so that our messages can spread all across and we can get rid of this failed leadership and put in new leadership that's going to put the people in Queens first place, not just today, but all the time. They're all talk, slow action. So we need solutions, not politics. So I hope I can get all of your support. I'll be here to answer as many questions as possible. And I once again want to thank the Republican Club for inviting me, to allow me to spread my message. I'm going to keep fighting for the people of Queens, and I'm not going to stop until we see Queens the way we expect it to be today and in the future. Thank you guys very much to support the movement. I need you all to support me at voteike.com. Make a small contribution. It sends a powerful message to not just my opponent, but also it sends a message of unity, that we stand united in this fight to make Queens a better place. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Henry.